I'm going to go a little faster on 34 because it's just like 33. We first need to compare it to our equation, noticing that our base here is 1/2 raised x. So that goes straight into parent function table. Now everything else is a transformation. My a and k that affects my y's, and my minus h that affects my x's. So then when I fill out my transformation table, I begin with my original x and y's, and remembering that my h is the opposite. So if I see +3, I need to do a -3. And then for my y's, I have a -1 in front, or just a negative, and then a -4 out back. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fill out my parent function table with -2 through 2, filling these out, plugging it in, and then transforming them. Pause until you are finished with your parent function table. As always, I fill out my positives first because 0, you get 1. Plug in 1, you get itself. Plug in 2, you just double it, multiply by itself. I should say square it. And then -1 is the reciprocal. So you take the base and you flip it, +2. You flip it and square it, +4. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all my x's and I'm going to shift them -3. Take all these, move them there, shift -3. So I'm starting at -5. Doing the same thing with my y is a little more complicated because I need to do two different things. Multiply by -1 and then -4. And that's what I get for my tables. Now the first thing I'm going to do is draw my asymptote, a dashed line at -4. And then when I start plotting my points, I'm either going to be all above or all below. In this case, I am all below. So -8. At -5, -8, I am here. I plotted the wrong asymptote. Back that up. I'm at -4, which is here. That makes more sense. So at -5, -8, -4, -6, -3, -5. And I start getting into these wacky fractions. -2, 4.5, -1, 4, and a tiny bit. And then we can see that this curve gets real steep there, and it gets closer and closer to my asymptote, but never really hitting it there. And so I'm going to draw my line as straight as possible. That's awful. Pretend that's a super straight line going that way. And that is my equation. Now my domain is nice and easy. That's a free point because it's always all real numbers. And my range is going to be a y question related to my asymptote, which we identified here as -4. And then you have to ask yourself, are all my points above or below? So they're below, so I'm going to say less than. And that's my equation. Now again, little hint, your graph is always going to match. So obviously there's a lot of wasted space up here, but we gave you a standard graph. If we ever shift the graph up or shift the graph down or way to the right or left, then you kind of know that's a hint from us that that's going to really kind of fit the function that we give you. In this case, it was fairly standard. They all fit in the 10 by 10.